Okay class, today we want to continue on 2.2, which is understand data context. Okay, understand data context. Okay, in understand data context, we have exploratory versus explanatory analysis. Okay, we go through. Okay, exploratory and explanatory are two types of data analysis approach. Okay, and it is very critical to understand the difference between these two analysis of data as they play different roles at different time. So we have two type of here analysis, which is exploratory. This is holistic approach, and second one is explanatory, which is analytical approach. We go the first one first, which is exploratory. Okay, what is exploratory? Exploratory analysis is to understand the data by cleaning and plotting various charts and finding out what might be not worth or interesting to highlight to others. Okay, so we have to know which one of the data that we find, and which one is the most important part that we must highlight to others. Okay, that is exploratory. Okay, when we do exploratory analysis, it is like hunting for diamonds in stones. We might have hundred of stones, but not all stones are diamonds. It means there are so many data, but not all data that we find is very important for us to I mean is not all data is important, so we have to make sure that the data that we are collected, we have filtered the data and find what is the most important data to be highlighted. Okay, and then that is exploratory analysis, and we go to explanatory. The first one is exploratory. This is explanatory. Okay, don't misinterpret, and jangan sampai tersalah. Okay, jangan confuse. Don't confuse to both of this analysis. This is explanatory, and is analytical approach. When we are at the point of communicating with the stakeholder or audience, we want to share diamonds or the specific story which is worth for them to make the decision instead of sharing the details about all the analysis we did. So this is an explanatory analysis all about. It's very critical to share the story which are relevant to the stakeholder. So explanatory analysis play a role here as a data context. So we have to make the story specific. So the story is big, so make it specific. Okay, so that it works for them to make decision. Okay, instead of just sharing the detail of all the analysis, we make the data specific, what we want to show them. Okay, so what is data context? So we go to next. Data context. Data context is information boundary that we specify based on target audience background, needs and requirements for the need to communicate and information effectively. Okay, it helps the audience understand the visualization that they are looking with data context that have been defined is justified. We cannot comprehend effective data visualization without defining its context. It means that we have to clearly understand the data context, the data that we have, okay, so that we can define what is the data context. Okay, next we go to why data context matter. Understanding data context is very crucial to ensure messages from data visualization can be conveyed successfully to target audience. Okay, three questions to be answered: who, what, and how. So, who is your potential audience? Okay, do they trust you as an expert? Be specific to avoid general audience such as internal or external stakeholder or who might be interested. Okay, so you have to find who is your potential audience. Okay, and then after you find your potential audience, so you have to go to what do you need your audience to know or do. Okay, how to make what you communicate relevant for your audience, how to form a clear understanding of why they should care about what you say. So it is important, because if they are not, you are not find what the audience need, the audience the audience might not clearly understand and get what you are trying to present, what you are trying to say. So you have to make to know what your audience need to know, and to make sure that why they need and why they should care about what you say. I mean, to get their attention of what you are trying to say. Okay, so then we go to how. After we identify potential audience and what we need them to know or do, we can look into our data and ask what data is available that will help them make my point. Data becomes supportive evidence of the story that you will build and tell. Okay, so the data give perspective and lens about an organization. It depends on how the organization want to use their data. Okay, apply 3-minute story, the big data, and storyboarding techniques to articulate story and plan the desired content and flow. Use any data visualization tool that you are comfortable with. Okay, this is the example. Okay, use the for example, if you are comfortable with Microsoft Excel, okay, you can use Microsoft Excel to create your data visualization. Okay, that is why we need data context. Okay, so next we go to consulting for data context. Ask yourself what background information is relevant or essential. Okay, who is the audience or decision maker? What do we know about them? Who is the audience or decision maker? What do we know about them? Okay, what bias does our audience have that might make them supportive or resistant to our message? Okay, and what data is available that would strengthen our case? Is our audience familiar with this data or it is new? And then where are the risks? What factor could weaken our case, and do we need to proactively address them? What would a successful outcome look like? If you only had a limited amount of time or a single sentence to tell your audience what they need to know, what would you say? Okay, we have this. Apply one of the technique: 3-minute story, big idea, or storyboarding. Okay, we go to that technique of consulting data context. Okay, we have 3 here: 3-minute story, big data, and also storyboarding. What is 3-minute story? If you have only 3 minutes to tell your audience what they need to know, what would you say? If you know exactly what is you want to communicate, you can make it fit in the time slot you are given. So it's like in a 3-minute stories, it's like you have to short from your idea. I mean, just make it summarize and take all the important data. Where a big idea by Nancy Duarte in her book Resonate 2010 consists of 3 components, which it must articulate your unique point of view, it must convey what is at stake, and it must be a complete sentence. Okay, and then storyboarding is a visual outline of the content you plan to create in sequence. So plan your data in sequence. That is storyboarding. So this is example of a case study, experimental pilot summer learning program on science. This one is the scenario, and it is a scenario about a teacher, a fourth grade teacher, that want to make an experimental pilot summer learning program on science that aim at giving kids exposure to unpopular subject, science subject. You survey the children at the onset and the end of the program to understand whether and how perfection towards science change. You believe that the data shows is a great success story. You would like to continue to offer the summer learning program on the science going forward. So you want to continue this program, you as a science teacher. Okay, so this one is the big data, this is storyboarding, and this is 3-minute story. We have big idea, storyboarding, and 3-minute story. Okay, we go first in storyboarding. Storyboarding is how we plan with sequence. So we can see here, the issue is kids have bad attitudes about science. And then demonstrate issue is show how student assignment create over course of year. And then ideas for overcoming issues, including pilot program, the program that mentioned. And then describe pilot program goals. Okay, what is the goal of the program? And then show before and after survey data to demonstrate success of program. Okay, and then the last one is recommendation. Pilot was a success, let's expand it, we need the money. Okay, so it's a success program, so you wanna continue the program. So this is how storyboarding is. Make a plan in sequence. Okay, as mentioned, where in big data it's just a one sentence. Make it one sentence. It's like the pilot summer learning program was successful at improving students' perfection of science, and because of this success, we recommend continuing to offer it going forward. Please approve our budget for this program. Okay, this is just one big idea, but all of the plan is just summarized in one sentence. Okay, where in 3-minute story you tell from the very beginning and then to the end, like we said here, the attitude of student difficult and they don't like science, and they need the first exposure of science sooner, so they want a learning program so that who student invited. Okay, in 3-minute story it will be a bit more detailed than the storyboarding and also the big idea. Okay, so it tell after the program before this, how many students that have a positive perception, and how many students feel just okay. And then you have and it says that this demonstrate the success of the program, and you should continue that we should continue to offer and expand, because the success is more student. There is more than 50% student say that give 70% interest towards the science subject. Okay, so in 3-minute story it is more detailed. So that is technique of consulting data context. And then this is example of big idea worksheet. Okay, zoom here, and then who is your audience? So list the primary group of all individuals to whom you be communicating. If you had to narrow that to a single person, who would that be? Okay, what does your audience care about, and what action does your audience need to take? And what at stake? What is at stake? What are the benefit if your audience acts in the way that you want them to? What are the risks if they do not? Okay, from your big idea, it should articulate your point of view, convey at stake, and be complete. And single sentence, must be sure it is in single sentence. That is big idea. That's why it's big. It's idea. It's a big idea, but in a complete sentence. Okay, so we go to recap the importance of data context. Okay, we have here type of analysis from the very beginning just now. Okay, exploratory versus explanatory, and this is analyzing and understanding. This is communicating a specific story. Okay, this is our focus lah. And then where do we begin? Okay, the first one is who is your audience. You have to be specific. What is their relationship to you? What motivates them? And what keep them up at night? Okay, you have to clearly define your audience. Okay, and then you need what do you need them to do? Okay, don't assume they will connect the dot, so you have to connect it for them. Okay, be explicit. It means that be clearly in detail. State all your data in details. Okay, how will data help make your point be discerning? Okay, what data will act as evidence for the case? Okay, you have to know what type of data that help you determine the evidence for the case. Determine that what is data is suitable for your audience. Okay, have a very good judgment. Okay, that is all for today topic 2.2. Thank you.